price does not enter your mind alone. It brings a shadow with it, the price you saw before. Today, you will discover why 500 Brazilian reals can feel expensive in one moment and like a bargain in another, how the first number quietly shapes your sense of value, and how understanding this bias can make your choices calmer, sharper, and more truly your own. Anchoring bias happens when the first information you receive becomes a reference point, even if it is incomplete, exaggerated, or chosen by someone else. Your brain loves comparison because it saves energy. Instead of asking, what is this really worth? It asks, is this higher or lower than what I just saw? That shortcut can influence shopping, negotiations, salaries, subscriptions, and even self-worth. And the fascinating part is that anchoring feels like common sense. Imagine Clara walking into a furniture store on a quiet Saturday afternoon. She only wants to find a simple chair for her reading corner. The first one she sees is elegant, beautiful, and priced at 2,000 Brazilian reals. She smiles but immediately thinks that is too much. A few steps later, she sees another chair for 500 Brazilian reals. Suddenly, the second chair feels reasonable, almost friendly, as if it is offering her a smart decision. This is the basic magic of anchoring. The 2,000 Brazilian reals chair becomes the first reference point in Claire's mind. It does not need to be fair or average. It only needs to appear first. Once that number is planted, 500 Brazilian reals no longer stand alone. It becomes much less than the expensive one. A jacket beside a luxury jacket feels cheaper. A phone plan beside a premium plan feels practical. A hotel room beside an outrageous suite feels balanced. Your brain is not failing you. It is trying to simplify a complex world. But once you notice the anchor, you can ask, would this still feel like a good price if I had not seen the first one? That question opens the first door. But sometimes the anchor is not placed by accident. Sometimes it is designed with quiet precision, and that is where the next mechanism begins. Imagine Daniel scrolling through an online store late at night. He tells himself he is only browsing. Then he sees headphones listed at 899 Brazilian reals, with a bright crossed-out price above it, was 1,499 Brazilian reals. He feels a pleasant spark of discovery. It feels like he found a hidden opportunity. The product is no longer just headphones. It becomes better music, focused work, and peaceful walks. The crossed-out price is one of the clearest uses of anchoring in modern selling. The original number becomes the mental starting point, and the discounted price becomes the relief. Your brain does not simply see 899 Brazilian reals. It sees savings. It sees distance from the first number. It sees a story. This used to be worth much more, and now I can get it for less. This appears during seasonal sales, app promotions, airline tickets, software subscriptions, and food delivery offers. Sometimes the discount is real and useful, but anchoring becomes tricky when the first price was inflated, unrealistic, or not relevant to what the product is truly worth to you. A calm consumer does not reject every offer. A calm consumer separates the emotion of the discount from the reality of the value. But even when discounts look obvious, another anchor feels even more invisible. The anchor hidden inside comparison. Imagine Sophia opening a streaming platform subscription page. There are 3 plans: basic, standard, and premium. The basic plan feels too limited. The premium plan feels expensive. The middle plan feels just right. It gives enough quality and comfort. Sophia clicks it peacefully, thinking she made the balanced choice. And in a way, she did. But her sense of balance was shaped by the other options around it. This is why brands place products side by side. The premium option can work as an anchor, not because most people will buy it, but because it makes the next option feel smarter. When you see a very expensive version of something, the middle version starts to look sensible. It feels responsible. It feels like avoiding extremes, and the brain loves that emotional comfort. You can find this in restaurant menus, software pricing, gym memberships, car packages, smartphones, and coffee sizes. A large drink can make the medium feel reasonable. A luxury package can make the standard upgrade feel acceptable. The inspiring part is that awareness gives you back space. Instead of asking, which option looks best here? You can ask, which option would I choose if I saw it alone? But the real twist is not in shopping. The same bias can shape salaries and negotiations, where the first number quietly takes control of the room. Imagine Marcus walking into a negotiation for a freelance project. He has prepared his notes and decided that a fair price would be around 4,000 Brazilian reals. Before he speaks, the client says, "Our budget is around 2,000 Brazilian reals." The room changes instantly. Marcus may know his value, but now his mind is pulled toward that first number. Ersteru 000 feels bold. 3,000 Brazilian reals feels like a compromise. The anchor has entered the room. In negotiation, the first serious number often becomes a psychological center of gravity. It does not guarantee the final result, but it influences what feels reasonable afterward. A low anchor can make a fair price feel high. A high anchor can make a moderate price feel generous. The person who sets the first number often gains subtle power. You see this when buying a car, discussing rent, accepting a salary, or selling a service. Someone says, "This should only take an hour," and suddenly your time feels less valuable. Someone says, "Most people charge less," and your confidence gets tested. But anchoring in negotiation is not about becoming aggressive. It is about becoming prepared. When you know the market, your needs, and your minimum acceptable point, the first number loses some of its spell. And here is the part that can change the way you see your own behavior. Anchors do not only come from sellers and negotiators. Sometimes they come from your own past. Imagine Olivia looking at an online course. Years ago, she bought a course for 100 Brazilian reals and loved it. Now she sees a more advanced course for 800 Brazilian reals, with live sessions, deeper material, and personal feedback. Even so, it feels expensive. Part of the reason is not the course itself. It is the old 100 Brazilian reals anchor still sitting quietly in her memory, whispering, "This is what a course should cost." Your mind uses past experiences as anchors because they feel familiar. The first salary you earned can shape what you think you deserve later. The first rent you pay can affect how you judge a new apartment. This can help you stay grounded, but the world changes. Quality, goals, and standards change. You may compare every restaurant to the cheap place you loved as a student. You may compare every new phone to the price of your old one. Sometimes your past protects you. Other times, it keeps you attached to a number that no longer represents the full picture. The beautiful thing is that you can update your inner references. You can say, "That price made sense then. What makes sense now?" But one more form of anchoring may be the most personal. The anchors that shape not just what you buy, but what you believe you are worth. Imagine Ethan receiving praise at work for a presentation. His manager says, "This was much better than your last one." It sounds positive, and maybe it is. But the phrase contains an anchor, the old performance. Instead of fully enjoying the improvement, Ethan compares himself to a previous version of himself. In another situation, someone might hear, "You were young, so this salary is already good," and suddenly a number becomes a ceiling. Anchoring can influence self-perception because the mind does not only compare prices, it compares identities. A first impression can anchor how others see you. A childhood comment can anchor what you think is possible. A past mistake can become a reference point for future confidence. This is why anchoring is not just a sales concept. It is a window into how humans build meaning. Someone who once failed at public speaking may anchor their identity to that moment. Someone who is underpaid may feel uncomfortable asking for more. The anchor becomes emotional, not just numerical. But the next point reveals something encouraging. Anchors can be changed. New information can create new reference points, and new choices can gently teach your mind a more accurate story. Imagine Mia preparing to buy a laptop. Before opening the store website, she writes down what she actually needs: smooth editing, good battery, enough storage, and a price range that fits her budget. She checks reviews, compares real market prices, and gives herself one night before buying. When she finally sees a limited offer and a crossed-out price, she still feels the spark of excitement. But now it is softer. It does not take over. This is how you protect yourself from anchoring bias without becoming suspicious of everything. You create your own anchor before someone else creates one for you. That anchor can be research, a budget, a personal value, a written plan, or a simple question: what would this be worth to me if no one told me what it used to cost? With a clear reference point, outside anchors lose power. Before shopping, decide your price range. Before negotiating, study the market. Before accepting an offer, compare it to your goals, not just to the first number presented. Before reacting to a discount, ask whether the product solves a real problem. These small pauses do not make life colder. They make life calmer. They help you enjoy good opportunities without invisible pressure. And this is where the story becomes hopeful. Anchoring bias shows that your perception of value is flexible, but that flexibility is not a weakness. It is also the reason you can learn and adapt. The same mind that can be influenced by a first price can also be trained to choose better anchors: clarity, patience, self-knowledge, and real value. So the next time something feels cheap, expensive, fair, generous, or too good to miss, pause for one quiet second. Ask yourself, compare to what? That simple question can open the hidden room behind the decision. You may discover that the price did not change. The reference point did. And once you can see the reference point, you are no longer just reacting. You are choosing with more awareness. Anchoring bias reminds us that value is never only in the object. It is also in the story around it, the number beside it, the memory behind it, and the feeling it creates. The surprising reflection is this: sometimes the most powerful price in the room is not the one you pay. It is the first one you believed. If this helped you see your decisions in a new way, leave a like, subscribe to Secrets of the Mind, and comment. Which anchor affect you the most without you noticing? A discount, a high first price, a past experience, or someone else's opinion?